In this video, we're going to take a look at the fixed joint. Now, the fixed joint is extremely simple, and if you've taken a look at any of the other joints, this is almost it's almost a no-brainer, really. All the fixed joint is going to do is, as the name suggests, fix an object in position. The only special thing about it is that it is breakable. That's all there is to it. So if I jump over into Unity, like so, now I've moved my set of doors that we actually created in the last video, if you watched that video. I've moved those way out of the way down here. I'm going to make a brand new object. Let's just make a brand new cube, which I will call fixed cube. And it's positioned right about, pretty much right where it needs to be. That'll be great. Let's scale it up. And I'll make it thin, kind of like our door was, after a fashion. It doesn't have to be exact, because it's not really going to matter. Now, let's go to Component, Physics, and let's drop on a rigid body. We'll jump back under Component, back under Physics, and this time we'll put on a fixed joint. Now, here's the important part about the fixed joint. You can connect this to another rigid body. This is where it starts to get really, really handy. If you have a complex object that needs to break apart when it comes into contact with something, this is how you can do it. Now,
I always think the scene from The Matrix, the lobby, with the comms where you could put pieces up against it.
Oh, wow.
And then they're stuck there, and as you start blowing stuff up, pieces start falling off of it.
That would certainly be one way to do it, though that might be a little intense for what I had in mind. Just thinking, I mean, yeah, you could certainly make that work, though. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to duplicate this object. And on the duplicate, I'm going to remove the fixed joint component. We'll rotate this around. Actually, I'd love to rotate it around just X if I can. And we'll just get these to kind of close in on each other. I really don't want them to interpenetrate because I don't want to risk any interpenetration errors. But I'm going to select my object that has the fixed joint on it. And then we're going to attach it to the other fixed cube. Now let's make sure that we have these named properly. So we'll call this fixed cube horizontal, and then we have fixed cube vertical.
Now we're going to have to turn gravity off on the horizontal one?
Well, let's just watch.
All right.
So if I grab both these guys, let's put, well, right now I'll just take them and slide them both up together, and let's rotate them and just hit play. Boom, they're just working. And then they get hit by a car and kind of shoved around. Now, these are two separate rigid bodies that are just being attached. You could, if you wanted to, turn off gravity on the one. It's just, to me, it's going to be nicer to have them as rigid bodies for when they both break apart from one another.
Right.
Because then they'll still be treated individually.
Right, this is another way to achieve parenting, but making it in a way that you can break it.
In fact, that's really all this is. This is just dynamic, breakable parenting. That's the best way to describe this. Now, let's jump down to our fixed joint, and we have brake force and brake torque. I'm just going to take our brake force and set it down to, we can probably get away with 1, and we'll get a breakage. So now we hit play, and boom, they just fall apart from each other. And that's it. That's all there is to it. If you have some sort of a complicated to semi-complicated object made of multiple pieces that need to break apart, but still need to hold together most of the time. Like their primary function is to remain stuck to each other, but they potentially could break apart on an impact or a really high torque. You'll simply reach for the fixed joint.
I'm starting to think of a game that has birds in it.
Oh, no. No, not that game. Anything but that game. But yeah, that's how that works. Now, of course, if you don't have a connected body, this is just parenting the object to the world. You're literally just giving it a position that it will try to stay at until it breaks away.
Right.
Now, if you have a piece that is going to break off of a building and you're never going to move the building itself, I wouldn't even worry about creating an object to connect it to. You could just connect it to the world and then just snap it off from there. I just wanted to throw that out there because that was posed to me not too long ago. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, so that is going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks so much for watching.